So just like in problem number 1, we're going to take this and we're going to isolate the trig function. So we have cosine of pi over 4x equals negative 1/3. What do you notice about this problem versus the problem number 1? This one is not a unit circle value, whereas in the first one we had negative 1/2 was. We're still going to use a unit circle because we want to see how many solutions there are here, and we can see that there are 2 here. Remember, cosine is x, so x equals negative 1/3. Now what we're going to do is we solve for this, so pi over 4x equals the arc cosine of negative 1/3. And we're going to type that in on your calculator. I did it here. See if you can get that to show up. So we have pi over 4x is approximately equal to 1.91. And remember, just like the first one, the period's been changed, so we're going to say plus 2 pi n. Or pi over 4x is approximately equal to, we need to get this other angle. Do you remember how to get that? That's where we're going to say 2. Oh, but before I do this, I forgot, I need to show you how to, and I've used the memory before, but I need to show you this again. So below, right next to the 1 key, there's this button STO. Press it, and it shows answer, arrow, and then type in alpha A. And so what we're going to do is place this into the spot A. Now what's going to happen is we're going to say, I'm going to figure out what this other angle is, which is 2 pi minus, and I can just say second answer, or I can say alpha A, and I get this 4.37 plus 2 pi n. Now we need to solve this, so what we're going to do is say multiply both sides by 4 over pi. And we're going to do it to both of these. So we're going to say 4 over pi, 4 over pi, 4 over pi. What happens on this one? The pi's reduce out and we're left with 8. So we'll have 8n. And then we're going to do the same thing on the other side. And so we'll have something plus 8n. And what I'm going to do right now, since this 4.37 number is on my screen, I'm going to use that one first. So I'm just going to hit times 4 divided by pi. And I get 5.57. Now I need to do the same thing to the previous one, but that was in A. So I'm going to say alpha A times 4 divided by pi. And I'll get 2.43. So now we're going to start listing out our answers. We know we have 2.43. That's a number that's in between 0 and pi, or 0 and 2 pi. If I add 8 to it, does that stay between 0 and 2 pi? No, because 8 is more than 2 pi. 2 pi is only 6.28 approximately. So we can't add 8. What if I subtract it? I would have a negative number. That doesn't work as well. I only have one solution from this. Similarly, I'll get 5.57, but if I add 8, I'm outside of my domain 0 to 2 pi. That's not going to work. And if I subtract it, it'll be negative. That won't work. So in this particular one, I only have the 2 solutions, but I need to make sure I've included that 2 pi n and check to see that it does work. Let's take a look at the next one. I'll clear the screen. So we're going to isolate the sign first, divide by 2.5, or this is the same as 5 over 2. So if we multiply by 2 over 5, we get 4 over 5. Look at our handy-dandy circle. Sign is y. Y equals 0.8. 4/5 is up here, so there's going to be 2 answers. So I'm going to take out my calculator. I have inverse sine of 4 over 5, or 0.8, and I get 0.92 0.27. So I'm going to have x over 2 is approximately equal to 0.93. Now I'm going to write 3 on my paper, but I'm going to keep this number on the calculator, plus 2 pi n. Or, now before I go to this or part, let's take this and store it into a letter. If you want to keep the previous one we had an A, let's say I want to keep that there, so I'll hit stow alpha D. I tend to like to do these first letters over there. Now I could say over here that D is 0.93, kind of in a little thinking bubble here. So I have that. That's secure now. Now I need to get this other angle. Remember, here's pi. This angle is 0.93, so it's going to be pi minus 0.93. So I'll get x over 2 is approximately equal to, so let me go pi minus answer. And I get 2.21 plus 2 pi n. Take again, and we'll have x over 2. So we're going to multiply both sides by 2 on both of these. So since this last one's up, I'll just deal with that. I'll say times 2, and I get 4.43. I almost made a mistake there. 4.43 plus 4 pi n. And on the other one, I will say alpha d this time times 2, and I get 1.85. Now, in terms of the rest of this, what I really did is I kind of blew this. And the reason why I did that, that this is a mistake, is I should have continued with this one completely before I went back to deal with this first set of numbers. But that's okay in this particular problem, because when we add 4 pi, we're not going to get an extra solution again. And over here, we add 4 pi, we're not going to, because we're going to be outside our domain. So again, we have another problem where we only have 2 solutions. And that's it for this. I will post up another video for the 4b, which is going to be a challenging version. I'm going to change one number on here, and I'm going to put a negative in there, and it will make everything much harder. But you can take a look at that after you're confident on knowing what to do on these ones.